Hey, how you doing?
Good, are you?
Crystal, thanks for bringing Truett.
Good to see you, sir. Good to see you.
Hey, we're not in Caldwell, Texas, the hometown of Mr. Truett here, but we are in Texas. And we've got behind us his Doc Holliday truck, the most recent build for Equipment Express. And Truett's been teasing me for the last many months, sending me pictures, just little clips where I can't quite see the whole thing, because he was going to debut this up at GBATS 2020 in Joplin. But since we had to postpone the show for a year, I guess it's still technically being debuted at GBATS. We're just doing it on a live stream. So tell me a little bit about how you got started. You know, if you're like me, my granddad runs some trucks, my uncle was a diesel mechanic, my other uncle and dad had truck stops and tankers and whatnot, so I'm betting you kind of grew up all along wanting to end up in trucking if you're like me.
So take me back to when we were young. Yes, sir. My dad had trucks. It was called Hot Oil Plus. It was a oil field service company. It was more of just straight trucks, but we serviced oil wells in Texas. Obviously, it's a big thing. And every afternoon they would come in. I had to park every one of them. Yep. I had to grease them all, just so my mom would get very aggravated. I would ruin every clothes. I had a new pair of clothes every day because I ruined the ones from the day before from grease and just hanging around trucks, crawling all over them, just living everything I could about them.
Oh, I'm telling you.
My uncle drove trucks forever. He would run to California. He did the West Coast Shuffle with the produce, and every Christmas break I would ride with him out there and kind of got just eat up with it. One summer, or not summer, one Christmas, my uncle got sick out in California, and I was in the 3rd grade, and I had to be back for school. And so he goes, "You've been driving them all in the yard. It's your turn to get on the road." So I drove it on the road when I was in the 3rd grade, all the way back to Fort Stockton.
That'd be something to
My
see.
parents
Now,
picked me
this
up.
day and age, you would never let your 3rd grader do that. You know, in this liability world. But man, back then
Back
it was
then
just
it was
different.
that's right. This was in the 80s. It wasn't no big deal. And I drove all the way to Fort Stockton. My parents picked me up, and I come in there, and they were like, "I cannot believe your uncle's letting you drive that truck." From then on, it's been nothing but trucks for me. Like I said, we started oil field service company. My dad still does that type of business. It's more of a construction now. And that's how I got into the hauling heavy equipment. He had the equipment, and so we started moving him around.
Well, fast forward into today, Equipment Express. I mean, I kind of know the gist of what you guys do down there, but for those of us that may not know, kind of what's the products and services, and what's a typical work week look like for you guys and your fleet?
So what we do is we primarily move, we call it yellow iron, construction type equipment, but it's mostly we chase what they call the pipeline industry. But side booms, excavators, and dozers is primarily what we haul, probably 70%.
Let's talk about the truck behind us, affectionately named Doc Holliday. And we're going to see a lot of references to the Tombstone flick. Why don't we go over here and we'll start with a walk around on the truck. What do you say?
Sounds good.
You know, the very name of the truck, Doc Holliday, the movie Tombstone, no matter how many times you've seen that movie and no matter when you get in on it, you're going to watch that thing to the end every time.
We already went over it, but every town has a story, but Tombstone has a legend.
Forgive me if I don't shake hands.
Go ahead, skin that smoke wagon, see what happens. Hell, I got a lot of friends.
I don't. Law don't go good around here, savvy.
There's no normal life, there's just life, so get on with it.
Well, you're a daisy if you do.
Remember, play for blood.
Well, I've not yet begun to defile myself.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Well, bye. The quotes never stop, and you're going to see that on the walk around here. So the truck I can see is a Legacy 07 model. Those were numbered, weren't they?
Yes, sir.
What's this one?
This one is 736.
736.
Of
Now,
1000.
how did this truck come about to end up in your fleet?
This truck come from a buddy of mine. He knows I look for legacies. 07 is my favorite year of Peterbilt. I have most of my fleet are 07s. I probably got about 18 of them that are 07s. 07 is the last year of 379, so that's the reason that I like them. I'm not a 389 fan.
Right on. Now, when you got it, I'm sure it was down to pretty much bare rails. Tell us a little bit about the refurb, the renovation, if you will. How far did you go down?
So the truck was originally black, factory wheelbase 300 wheelbase, double frame front to back.
Okay.
Now we took it all the way down to just frame rails.
Did you replace the rails or just refurbish
The frame
it?
rails are original.
Okay.
So they still have the serial number stamped in them. But all of the axles have been changed, all of the brakes. So this is a 389 front axle, factory air ride. The rears are factory 389 air ride axles. They're Super 40s. They got disc brakes front to back, just like a new truck would have. Behind the motor, we got two transmissions. We got a 2918 transmission, and we got a 1750 4-speed auxiliary. We got 411 gears that are the direct gears, which you got two lower in the 4-speed, and then you got one overdrive.
Are all your trucks some shade of blue?
All of them but one.
All of them, and what's it?
Sore thumb, it's white.
Ah, gotcha. Well, the color combination, the old school stripe package is good. That's got to be a double eagle sleeper, doesn't it?
That is. This is a double eagle sleeper. Came off of, it's like an 84. Came off and we totally redone it. It's all new skins, all new interior. We added a little old school van windows to it. It is original OEM parts. These were leftovers from whenever Double Eagle went out, and we bought some parts from them.
I see. And then to complement that, you went with the small bow tie.
Yes, sir.
It just shouts 80s model, Double Eagle, old school cool. I mean, it really come together nice. The painted air cleaners, painted tanks, nicely done.
I like a lot of the old school, but I like all the new features, the new amenities. I like the air ride. I like the Unibuilt in them. I like the bigger mirrors, but we do try to still keep a lot of the old school that was cool, like the paint stripe, the old school looking sleeper, just more square and boxy, but not too much 350. I don't want it to look like a 359 as a lot of people would.
Right.
That's not what we're going for, but some of just the features that we like from the old school, but with all the new amenities. That's the reason we went with disc brakes, but it's still got an old truck, new front end, new motor, new front axle underneath the 389 air ride.
It's an 07 on title only. Really, you've replaced and updated all the running gear.
Yes, sir.
I dig the way you kept the theme going, 4 tank straps, 4 air tank straps.
Yes,
that worked out real nice. Tell me why the selection on the, I call them tanker lights, but instead of doing like watermelon cab light lenses or the rubber mounts, what made you go with
we did these lights. It kind of goes with the theme of the truck. They're kind of a flat bill like Doc Holliday's hat. So they're a flat bill. If you look at the flanges on them, it's a flat bill, kind of looks like a top hat from the movie.
Right on, right on. 8-inch pipes?
We went with the old school turnouts. Most of the trucks that we run do have miter cuts, but just trying to change them up a little bit.
Let's head on, check out the part of the truck that does the heavy lifting back here. A lot of custom sheet metal work down the deck plate.
We like to enclose all of the deck plates to keep everything clean and simple. I don't like a lot of dirt. That way it is going to get dirty, but you do not see it. It just kind of keeps a good, sleek, clean type look.
WTI fenders?
WTI fenders with the small lip. It's on low air leaf suspension with Super 40 rears, which Super 40 is entitled 46 axles and gears, but the suspension is only rated for 40, so they call it Super 40s.
One thing about these fenders, we call them single humps or full radius. They look so good when they're on, but now you talk about some time. It takes some time to lay those out like you did and get the brackets right to where everything is nice, level, and symmetrical. Some people don't realize how tough it is to do a good job putting those things on, and you guys did it.
It's probably close to 40 hours of labor by the time you start to the time you finish, mocking everything up, putting them together, mount them to make sure they're good, get them all the same height. If you notice, they're all the same height at the bottom, they're all the same height at the top.
Yep.
And to do that, it takes time.
You see more trucks with them not mounted just right than you do right, I can assure you.
Yeah, they're aligned, I guess you'd call it vertically and horizontally. They're perfect.
Yep. I'm seeing attention to detail. You guys finished all your welds, ground them down, body worked them, custom T-bar on the back that's actually molded into the frame.
This here is for our trailers. This is what they call the stiff arm that holds the trailer up. When you detach the neck that holds it up. We put the neoprene pad here to keep from scratching the back of it. But this plate is actually 3/4 inch plate that is molded into that and fabricated into that. And we went with same with all of the lug nut covers, top hats to kind of go with the theme. We got some sayings on the back. We got the little hat painted in the back here for Doc. It's just a little emblem of it.
Say when.
Say when.
My hypocrisy only goes so far.
Just a few things to follow up with Doc. Most of our trailers have a lot of people refer to them as the California hookups, but it just keeps everything off the top. Instead of scratching your deck plate, it kind of just hangs here in the back where it's out of the way.
That's not aluminum, is it?
No, sir.
That's steel.
That's 3/4 inch plate.
We don't work with a lot of steel up there in Missouri for T-bumpers.
That is a push block if you need it to be.
I see. Yeah, there may be a dozer blade against it someday.
That's right.
Hopefully it's not in the near future. Hopefully that's 10 years down the road.
There you go.
Yeah. The pleated back wall on the double eagle was an old signature mark that always added a real nice finished look. I like that.
We added the back window. Most of them didn't come with it, but my guys prefer back window, and every truck I have in the fleet has one, so we couldn't go without the back window, and it just...
What about the boomerang antenna? Did you find an old school truck stop that had that like way in the back on the top shelf?
No, that come from in the same place I call them van windows in the side come from. Found them in a square body 70 model van junkyard.
Those were pretty big back in the day.
Yeah, that kind of gives it. That was one of my first pieces I bought to put on there.
Well, you've kind of got me intrigued with that. You said it's a C17 cat.
Yes, sir.
Not a C15, not a C16, not a C18. You got to crack me with something different. A C17. Let's get this hood up and you can tell me more.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty much stock under here. They really haven't done a lot yet. Man, this looks phenomenal.
We got to get to the motor last. That's the most expensive part.
C17. Tell me again slow, what makes this different?
So his factory was a C15 A-cert.
Okay.
What makes it to a 17 liter just by is taking the pistons and liners from a C18 and modifying the rods that will attach to the C15 crank. And there's a little more to it, obviously, with the tune on the ECM, but that's the heart of it. So it's still the same crank as a C15, but you change the jugs and the pistons.
Now, with it being a recent build, you probably haven't put it on a dyno yet, and maybe you never will, but if, best guess, what kind of horsepower?
Around 800 horse.
800 horse. Man, she'll do the job,
yes,
especially
sir.
with that tranny setup and those low geared rear ends.
With the gears in the tranny, it should do fine.
Yep. Well, you can see full attention to detail here. Painted intake pipes, chromed out coolant pipes. Everything's polished and plated where it needs to be. Well done under here. Look at the tombstone references. Just keep going and going. Law dogs. Is this Play for Blood? Right here, Play for Blood?
Yes, sir.
And then you got some cowboy Doc Holliday silhouettes back there.
And up here on the hood is where we got one of the most famous ones from, where Tombstone, the movie, where it says, every town has a story, but Tombstone has a legend.
That is awesome.
We got the hand-painted
pinstriping,
got guns incorporated into it.
There again, it kind of
the revolvers
brings that 80s theme in with the hand-laid pinstripes. You know, most trucks are a 12,000 pound front. What is this, a 16?
This is a 18,000 pound front.
Yes, I haven't got anything right today.
20 is most common on the most big ones, but the 20s we got to have too many springs. They ride a little rough.
Gotcha.
300-inch wheelbase truck, we have a hard time putting more than that up there, so we just don't go that route.
I see you put a airlift bumper flip kit on it so you can navigate through those job sites where they want you to go.
Gives you a little bit more ground clearance.
Yeah.
Dipping in the hole, getting off road.
Well, I don't want to miss out. Let's check out the other side of the engine. Got a polished out coolant reservoir up here.
Yeah, we polished out the turbo intakes here. The same thing, still the twin A-cert turbos. We got down here some more of the sayings where it says law don't go around here, and on the oil pan. We got a revolver down there, 6-shooter, says I have 2 guns, one's for each of you. That's Doc's famous one whenever Ringo tells him he's seeing double.
Well, we've walked around it rather quickly. I think it's about time to check out the interior. I know all of you online are dying to see that. Crystal, how about you give us a tour of the inside? I'm sure you had a hand in the design. Crystal, I can't believe it was the first thing I noticed when I pulled up, and we haven't talked about it yet. The blue tint.
Yes.
Not smoke, but blue.
Blue tint. Yep, you're absolutely right about that. I'm not quite sure if that's DOT friendly or not.
But it's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool. Couldn't go better with the truck. Aluminum floor painted to match. As you can see, we're barefoot in here, so we're not scratching. We're being respectful, keeping it looking new. Painted dash, trimmed out with all the chrome. He talked about the 18-speed with the 4-speed auxiliary. Attention to detail. Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday, the name of the truck. We got wagon mule on the truck and trailer air valves there.
Here's an 80s reference, the anti-glare lights.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, everybody had a pair of these $4 lights that is supposed to keep the glare down. I don't know if they actually do that or not, but they are pretty cool.
And then I don't know if you noticed or not, but we went ahead with the interior, so everything kind of ties together. We used the same top, the tanker top hat lights on the inside as we did the outside.
Yep.
The Peterbilt oval on the front, Equipment Express, we came through in the truck and all where it would say Peterbilt the oval, we tied the Equipment Express in. Stainless steel seat bases, went around with the chrome around the shifters.
Man, this is finished out really nicely. Man, it's just clean. It's not overdone. The choice to go with a diamond tuck interior really worked well on this truck. I like the way that came together. You got the nice rockwood chrome plated handles here. Brought the two-tone blue inside from the outside, and I mean, it's all the way around. The button tuck works well back here too. Got a blue light in the back sleeper glass.
Yeah, and then blue light also, the windows in the side of the bunk, those will illuminate in blue at night as well. Yeah.
Even the new seats were recovered to match the new upholstery.
Yeah, and there's some pretty comfortable seats.
Authentic horn. That's not your 3-bell $90 made in China horn version, in case you're wondering.
No, in fact, I think that this might have come from your sale you had not too long ago.
Right, right. And I seen you even have the authentic valve. Like, you don't have the chrome China valve. You got the real locomotive deal.
Yep.
Yep. I dig it. Yep. I dig it. Here we go. You know, the legacy, number 736, like Truett said, of 1,000. Yep. They only made these in 07, and they were kind of an anniversary edition. So they're a highly sought after, highly valued truck, the Legacy series in general. All right, cool stuff. Thanks, Crystal.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the tour of Doc Holliday, but tell me, back at the shop down there in Caldwell, should we be expecting any other cool projects coming out, say, over the next 6 months or a year?
Well, I'd like it to be 6 months, but it's more probably like a year. We do got one you asked earlier about of all the trucks, they were all blue. We got a teaser coming up that's not blue. And ironically, we named it Troublemaker. It's a shade of blue, but it's not blue.
Well, I know everything you guys turn out is head turning, that's for sure. So you guys definitely got an eye for design and a reputation for quality. Along those lines, like Truitt, if you had a kid come up to you, say he's 26 years old and he's got his truck, he's gonna get his start in heavy hauling, what would be your best advice for success to this young lad or gal? Could be a gal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
What we built our business on is customer service and quality. Price don't mean nothing. You can be the cheapest guy in town and they ain't gonna use you very long if you don't have customer service, or you can be the highest guy in town and they only have to use you once to get in there if you got the customer service to take care of your customers. So I'd say utmost, that's the #1 goal, is customer service, and do what you say you're gonna do. If it costs you money, it costs you money. You can't go back on your word. If you tell the man $100 and it costs you $300, you might not do it very often, but you need to do it that time you tell him that. You learn from what your mistakes and you go about and do it that way.
That's good advice.
We've had some long-lasting customers from the very first year we started. I still got the same one. He's still my #1 customer.
Well, I've enjoyed this time down here in Texas with Crystal and Truitt. I hope you have too. Thanks for the tour. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to set aside an afternoon to make some TV magic. So,
absolutely.
I appreciate it. It's always good to get together. I wish we didn't live so far apart, but we appreciate you guys. I know you're real good to call Josh about every 3 or 4 weeks and order up a few parts and we ship them down to you. The only thing that would be better is if you called him every 3 or 4 days.
I hear that. Well, we hope you enjoyed, Doc, but yeah, blue is still our #1 color, even though Troublemaker is not blue.
Gotcha. All right, well, appreciate it.
Yes,
Y'all have
sir.
a safe trip
Thank
home,
you, sir.
and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Good seeing you. All right, I just would like to say thanks to everybody who helped with this and helped with Equipment Express. First and foremost, my parents, Tommy and Pat Novosad. My wife, Crystal, keeps this going. And the guys that make the world go around when we're away doing these things. All my drivers, mechanics, ladies in the office. Y'all are the real heroes behind the scene that keep us going. Just want to tell y'all thank you. And keep doing the good work y'all do. And we'll keep the trucks looking like they look. Thank you.